6:08.
I have 6:46. Apple
So,
time.
we all set?
Yeah.
Okay, open the business.
Move to open the meeting, hearing?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
And that was a motion to open the hearing for, legal notice, in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 40A and Townsend zoning bylaws, the Townsend zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, June 30th, 2021, at 6:45 PM or thereafter. Memorial Hall, 272 Main Street, on the application of Kevin Smith and Kenneth Tully under zoning bylaws 145-24, 145-64, and 145-66. The applicant is requesting a variance from the driveways and entrance bylaws to construct a common driveway entrance serving 3 residential dwellings within 500 feet of the existing common drive entrance serving 101, 103, and 105 Warren Road. The property is located on Warren Road, assessors map 32, block 0, lot 0 in the residential A district. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so in writing prior to the hearing or at the hearing in person or represented by an agent or attorney. Copies of this application are available for review in the office of the town clerk and zoning board during business hours during the county and chairman of the town.
Great.
It's the first time I've done that in a long time.
Yeah. So, Kevin, why don't we start with your saga here? So everybody's up to date.
How are you folks? I'm Kevin
Wonderful. How are
Smith,
you,
for anybody that doesn't know me. What we have is down on Warren Road, we had a sand pit, which you folks had given us a permit to remove some material a number of years back. We split it into 3 lots. We got 3 lots approved through the planning board. And when we went to get permits, it was brought to our attention through the assessors that somewhere along the line there was only one street number available for the 3 lots. So it became a little bit of a problem as it was passed around through the different boards in town. The fire chief had a very serious concern regarding public safety because to have 3 individual driveways, we would have had to misnumber the lots. So we currently own an existing home there that's number 107. The next lot is number 111. So that only left us with number 109. So due to this new and enhanced 911 system that they're proposing to bring online shortly, the fire chief had stressed that he wasn't going to allow us to misnumber the lots for public safety reasons. So he had made the suggestion to come before the board and for us to construct a small common driveway in which could be named and put into their GPS system, in which would get them right to the entrance, and then the street numbers would be, or the number would be 1, 2, 3, say, instead of something else. Something simple. There'd be signs there that would direct it to the individual homes and numbered accordingly. And the reason for the variance is because Townsend has a rule that you cannot have 2 common driveways within 500 feet of each other. We measured it out as a common driveway just on the north side of number 107, and that was a distance of somewhere around 450 to 60 feet from this driveway that the fire chief wanted us to put in. So to meet the rules, we had to come and apply for a variance for the 500-foot offset, common driveway to common driveway. So pretty much that in a nutshell. It has put us in a way that we had to come in and have a common driveway design in order to meet the public safety requirements or future requirements. I think we were probably at the infancy of this as far as I think we're the first one. And so moving forwards, at least we'll know that in the future.
When was the other common drive created?
It's probably around 15 years ago, I'd say. I don't think we built it. I don't recall it. We did not do the sites in there. I don't believe we had anything to do with that.
Kevin, I was looking at the drawings on my small screen. I was wondering why you couldn't potentially move the entrance of the driveway. I see it has some wetland area.
There's a 200-foot riverfront line right here.
That's a dotted line right there?
That's that line. This is the existing entrance that we've always used for the gravel pit. It's about 40 feet wide. The site distance is at its best right in that location. So rather than clear more trees or have to file with conservation, getting a notice of intent to go into the wetlands, we felt that just using the existing driveway was sufficient. Plus, when you come in, we keep this driveway going to lot number 1, right along the edge of it, which creates more of a privacy distance to lot number 2. And then it's just a short distance so that it can be named as to get the ambulance or fire truck to it.
How wide does the common drive have to be?
Well, it's going to be paved 16 feet.
16 feet, so when you're talking like 30 or 40 feet, so I don't know if you could squeeze it just a little bit more, and you have a 40-foot entrance there, could you get another...
Squeeze 3 driveways in?
No, just move the common so it's outside of the 500.
I can't get that distance. I don't have the 30, see, I'm right on the edge. It would put me, say it's 460, 65,
That's what I was-
35 feet. I can't make it.
You can't, okay.
I can't.
That was the question, that was the only question I had.
Yeah. No, I can't make it.
Does everybody see what I was talking about, the bigger? Yes.
Where were the driveways going to be constructed?
Well, one of them we would have filed a notice of intent, so one of them would have been towards Lunenburg. That one would have been slid right to the edge of the 200-foot buffer, and then the other one would have came in with a grass strip between them. But because we didn't have street numbers, that was our original plan, but because we don't have street numbers, that ended that.
So you were going to have 3 separate driveways?
Yes, and then we wouldn't have had to come before the board, period. We would have had to file a notice of intent with conservation on lot number 1 for the 200-foot riverfront. But the other 2, lots 2 and 3, we wouldn't have had to do anything. Could have gone in the existing access into the property now we were just used.
And how deep is the common off of the Warren Road?
And it's under 50 feet, I believe. It's whatever he felt that we needed to do to designate it as a way, you might say.
So there's no way to basically renumber the street.
No, and because of this new enhanced 911, he was very much against the misnumbering. We own all the land past 111, which would be the old existing house, that's on the road. I believe it was the old Mackey places, I called it when I was younger. And then we own property beyond it. So we could have, there was actually numbers available down there on property that we owned. But unfortunately, we couldn't take those numbers and move them back up to the other side. Because he said, no, we can't do it. Just put us in a bit of a stalemate, you know.
That's like Mexico.
Yeah. You know, we want to do everything right, moving forwards. I'm sure this is probably going to come up again. The board may feel down the road, they may want to amend that rule that instead of having 2 common driveways within 500 feet, they want to cut it back a couple hundred feet. So maybe that part of it wouldn't happen. You know, maybe never happen again, but however, you're still going to probably have me or someone else coming before the board. You're probably still going to have me coming before the board down the road with the same thing, maybe again, in a different location in town, you know.
It's never happened. 20 years.
Yeah, but you didn't have the enhanced 911. You don't have the enhanced 911 issues before. Townsend has all kinds of misnumbering in town. I mean, you've been here long enough. You drive down Tyler Road and it's 62 and then it's 86. then it's 68, you know. So it's, you know, you're trying to avoid that. So I think they're way avoiding it. This sounds like it's gonna be something like this. A small named way that their GPS will get them into, and then 1, 2, 3. So the 6 lots in there would be 1 through 6.
It would end up being something like, for instance, it'd be 109, Warren Road, number 1, number 2,
No.
number 3, or
ABC.
No letter designations. Can I have a number?
Yeah.
They're gonna have a way, a named way to get them to the entrance.
so you're gonna name it after us?
Well, we have to name it. We have to name it, and I would like to name it this evening with a little input from, this is Dan Machete. He's a young fellow that was brought up in town. He lives in town with his wife and a couple of children. And he's going to be taking lot number 2, which will probably be street number 2, whatever lane, whatever way. And I asked him to allow him to give his input into a name, because we have to name it, probably have to name it tonight to give it away, so they can record it. Yeah. So,
No, thanks.
Dan, if you'd like to get up, what were your thoughts? I know at one point you wanted to name it Baker's Way. His wife is one heck of a good baker. But I think he's decided he might want to change it again.
Sure. I've never done this before, Sam.
No, step right on up,
You
step
actually-
right over here and introduce yourself to
Well,
these.
He's very formal, I like to follow the lead.
We're in,
I have a as informal as you can get.
Well, I appreciate the board's time. So, obviously, we're here to talk about the Common Way and the naming of it. We had initially been talking about a different name. I think we wanted to land on Magnolia Way. It's very distinctive. You can't mispronounce it very easily, so it would satisfy the public safety concerns.
There's not another one in Townsend. I like Baker's Way better. Simple, Mike.
But there is a Barker Hill.
Yeah.
Huh?
I know that because I live on it. So if we are truly trying to do this in the sense of public safety,
It has to
name
be
it something
done,
very unique.
correct. It has to be a name that there is none in town. Somebody said, well, name it Smith Way. I don't want to name it Smith Way, we have Smith Street. No confusion. So I was going to name it after my late brother anyway.
I was gonna say, if you have any children, just their first name in the way or something.
I've left it to them. So,
that would be the easy part.
so we'll pick a name and it's going to get in there.
Kevin,
Yes.
if you want to go back to history, it used to be Cooper's Hill. That's what it used to be.
That's right, that was Cooper's, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know, we want to.
We get coppers.
Yeah. They're trying to keep it so that it's something that they can't confuse with something else in town.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's another.
No, there isn't a Cooper, there's a Coppersmith, there's a couple
Oh.
different things. And I feel that.
Well,
Yeah, I see.
So what name would you like to name it, Dan? Is it Magnolia Way?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Magnolia Way would be the name that we would like to base. So if you put that in your notes, Beth?
So, Kevin, are you gonna make a pitch as to how we get this past the variance standard?
What's that?
You're gonna make a pitch as to how we get this past the standards for a variance requirement?
Variance is going to be a
Four-part test.
higher hurdle than just a special permit.
I don't know if there's much of I don't know how I want to, I'm not the
The
pitch guy.
financial impact is one of the criteria.
That's on,
Well,
do we have a list of what they consider the acceptable reasons to grant the
Ask me.
I think that-
Topography.
I think the financial impact would be, you would probably have to go to the neighbor, and the neighbor would have to renumber his road, which means he would probably have to retitle, new deed, new mortgage, new all this stuff, in order to change his existing street number that we've
Wouldn't apply
had.
to you, so.
I don't know how to,
Yeah, it's in your review.
I don't know. I'm kind of in a knot.
If we were brainstorming, Darlene mentioned something, that wetland, I was asking if you could move the road further, whatever direction it is.
Okay, because of the wetland, that would be one, that would be one.
The only one, it's not a proposal.
That would
Usually the
be-
topography is the one we can't.
Yeah, there's a topographical issue as far as the grade. The grade would be probably exceeding 8% if we tried to move the driveway. That would probably be considered a hardship. You know, because you would have a conservation issue within the riverfront, plus you would have a grade that would probably be close to, if not exceeding, the limit. You would have a sight distance issue, because now that you're moving the driveway towards Lunenburg, now you're moving it towards the sharp corner where there's always a lot of accidents. So you've got an issue, I guess, there as well.
I'm thinking, soil condition, the wetland.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the part about the enhanced 911 is not really mentioned in the law, but...
I don't know how that could not be a hardship. That's the reason I'm here.
Well, to me, it's similar to not having a marketable title, which we've granted variances for that reason before. The other thing that comes to mind is I don't know why the common drives ever had this 500-foot distance between them.
I don't know what it was.
It may have, but it just seems kind of arbitrary to me. I mean, because if you just have 200 feet of frontage and you put a driveway in it, then you're going to have a driveway every 200 feet. And, this is not more intense than, I mean, it's slightly more intense, but from a traffic engineering point of view, it's not more intense than a single house. It's 3 houses. So, I mean, I think if we were to grant this variance for the enhanced 911 thing, we would want to write to the planning board and ask that they change that bylaw.
All right, so just to refresh over, it's the first time we've done a variance in a long time. So the conditions, I mean, it's codified under Mass General Laws 48, but we've codified it under our own bylaws. It says, owing to circumstances related, this is on page 145:87. It says, owing to circumstances relating, what's that? Owing to circumstances relating to soil condition, shape, or topography of such land or structures, and especially affecting such land or structures, but not affecting generally the zoning district in which it is located, little enforcement of the provision of the bylaw would involve substantial hardship, financial and/or otherwise, to the petitioner or applicant. So that's basically the
Hardship, financial, otherwise.
Well, we fall under all three.
It's one of, it's not like, it's not an inclusive list. It's one of, you don't have to hit them all. You just have to hit one of them. That's why I'm still saying soil condition. Everybody
That driveway grade, sight distance.
Safety doesn't come into it yet.
Oh, safety doesn't come into it. Oh,
It's really just that, it's very strict.
yeah, okay.
That's why variances are really.
I thought there was also there that said, or
Otherwise, yeah.
Otherwise.
Financial or otherwise.
Well, otherwise, couldn't it be public safety?
Involves substantial hardship, financial or otherwise.
I mean, wouldn't public safety be otherwise? Otherwise, would that?
I don't.
I mean, I'm not here because we needed to be here. I'm here because
You were told.
we were told we had to come. And we were told we had to do this.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
My suggestion, folks, would be that we go under the soil condition because of the wet, you can't move the driveway further to the other side because it's wetland.
We'd be in the wetland zone.
Yeah, and that would be the condition,
And that's the one thing stopping him from complying.
And that's the one thing complying, because that was the one question I had, but why couldn't you slip it down and?
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right. Valid point.
Yeah, no, it's-
I hadn't given it a thought because, you know, I hadn't given it much thought, to be quite honest with
Yeah.
you, Dave, because, they kind of drove me down my throat.
Yeah,
I'm here.
sure.
Dave, you want to, when we do the finding, et cetera, would you want to put in something about the fact that besides that issue, the fact that E911 thing is also the fact, going forward, because if somebody just looks at it like, well, you let him shave 50 feet off
Yeah.
because of the soil, why can't you do it?
Well, I think we have to be specific on what are the criteria, then you can say in addition,
Right.
based on the.
Because I believe
911
that, I
requirements.
believe that this enhanced 911, as I've gathered, and in my research in the last month or so in meetings, that's why I said, I'm here for you, this is kind of the first time around. There's a pretty good chance I'll be here again, someplace else in town, over probably the same thing, moving forwards, you know. I hope not.
No, that's what I'm suggesting. Maybe that's something else.
You can make some
The
decisions.
only reason I haven't thought about including the E911 is because if somebody comes up, they've got no other issue that's spelled out, the key 911 could be a major factor. Because it's going to require renumbering, having the neighbors cooperate.
If I'm a purist and applying the variance requirements, if this was just strictly 911, I came in here and having a hard time.
That's why I'm saying we should.
Hence, I asked the question about the driveway.
Well, there was that issue as well.
That's,
And-
it's one of the listed.
Valid point, Mr. Chanel.
I think we should just, we'll throw the 911 in there too, but, you know.
Yeah, it's not a major factor, but it should
a factor.
be noted for
It
future.
could be considered a consequential factor.
You may find yourself changing your rules or modifying your rules down the road. You know, maybe because this is something that's probably in its infancy, but it's probably something moving forwards in the years to come, that this is going to be something that, if it's not me coming before you, it's going to be somebody else.
Welcome to new technology and unexpected
Correct.
Supposed to
consequences.
make it easier for
Correct.
ourselves.
And public safety is number one priority.
Alright, so you know how to do a variance.
Say what?
You know how to do a variance, the order of it?
Hey, come on, you gave me one a few years back.
Yeah,
Basically, we have to
What's 145
review the
Common drive?
plan,
I
yeah.
got a few of them.
Here it is.
64 is what?
You hold the record, Mr. Smith.
And Mr. Chanel has been involved with a few of them in years past, and he decided to take a vacation, so he's back.
I
And
was
it's nice to see you back on the board,
I was
Mr.
called
Chanel.
into play when Tony passed away.
When Tony passed away.
In fact, this one here met me in my parking lot at my work when I pulled into work one day. He called me, I ignored his call. She showed up the next day.
Can't ignore her at all.
I can't ignore her, she was parking my spot.
Oh,
Our Realtor Association is in the same building as offices. I bumped into them.
Hey, I've been there before to see, I've been there before to see if there was any hope. I've been there before to see if there was any hope for me as well.
Yeah, you've had business deals.
14564 is about appeals, so zoning
Oh,
officer's decision,
so-
so I don't know what
I don't know why
that's.
that's-
I think what it was is if we didn't agree with Eric that he could do it, then.
Right.
So I think we have to fight. Did you mark, you posted this as an appeal window variance?
No, it's actually a variance. I did use the wrong section number, but it's
That's what
technically
it
a
was, though.
variance.
If you were appealing the zoning enforcement officer's decision that you needed a variance, that would be another thing, way to get around
The
it.
applicant's requesting a variance.
But, yeah, so the postage is just a variance, we don't have to deal with it.
That's what I was asked to do, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So all we have to deal with is the 145-66 criteria then?
That's right.
Yeah,
Were
Correct.
there any additional input
Read it.
from
Yeah, we have-
any boards?
Yeah, does
or-
anybody-
There were no mandatory referrals on this.
Well, you have a butter here present. They appear to be, they're not
But I'll
throwing
let
rocks
them
at me,
work
so they appear to be maybe in favor of what we're trying to do.
Right.
So do you folks
Yeah.
have anything to say as far as?
It's fine.
They're fine.
If you're okay with Kevin's proposal?
You're in support, just get him asking. You're in support or against what he's asking to do?
Oh, I'm supporting.
Okay,
Great.
perfect.
Thank you, folks.
Alright, so we need a motion for findings on A1 and 2. Right?
That's what I mean, it has been a long time since we've done a variance.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done one since I've been back on the board.
Well, that's right. The last one I remember when you and I were on the board was rock ledge and couldn't put the utilities
That was that's
underground.
probably one of the most legitimate ones we've ever had.
Oh, I'm glad I brought that in.
That's over 10 years.
Right?
We did have a nice
no,
one
that
that
was Ernie
broke them all
Sheldon's son.
down into the 4 points. It was listed
Yeah.
differently, so we
He
could
came in
just,
himself, he's a lawyer. Came
in
in
the findings
himself.
of fact for them.
It's in the application here.
Oh, you may have been another one too, I don't recall that one.
Would've been here for quite a few.
Yeah, you have, yeah. And you still haven't brought us any coffee, I don't know.
Part of the,
I know, I apologize.
Right.
it's looking for.
So basically, we want findings of fact that address those
Those conditions, yeah.
issues, right? So we know the amount of variance, right?
Don't know. So the finding is that it's approximately a 40-foot
on page
change in 500 foot.
That's right.
Ken, do you know the specific encroachment of this driveway to the existing? Is it 440, 460?
I think in Cap one, about 450. I think Eric measured it as the agent of the building, some enforcement
Probably
officer.
his decision.
And then our engineer had measured it as well. It's going to encroach us way into the, a little too far into where we want to be.
Dillis and Roy have approximately 425 feet from the
Oh,
drive.
that makes more sense, correct.
425 feet. Should we go with them, civil engineers?
They probably
They
actually
measured it.
Yeah.
I pasted.
All right, so we get 425 feet. So it's what, 75-foot variance is what we're looking for, right?
What's that gray area again, Kevin?
That's a 15% change.
What is this? What is this?
That's the riverfront line?
That's what I want to know. That's what-
Riverfront line.
Yes.
That's not it.
So what circumstances relating to the particular soil condition, shape, or topography of your land or structures cause you need a variance? The driveway can't be moved to meet the 500-foot line due to the
Riverfront, and the
riverfront line.
and the natural slope going on to the property from the road.
What's the degree on that?
Due to not being able to keep the proper
Could
setback.
be exceed 8%.
That's the max you can put on it?
Maximum most towns, I don't know if towns has adopted it, but most of the towns we work in is 8%.
Subdivision control, I think max is at 8%.
8%.
So C would be the soil condition of the riverfront line. And then D, what substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, owing to the particular circumstances in the above would result of this application for variance?
But the thing, it's not an inclusive thing, you just have to find out one of the items, you don't have to. So you have to say, like, soil condition will be the one, and then you say,
Right, but then
Or-
the hardship is in addition to.
or structures that are not.
Technically, like Dave said earlier, the hardship wouldn't be associated with this lot, it would be the numbering for other
It's
lots.
C and D. Under C, you've got soil condition, shape, or topography.
No, there is a
One of
hardship
those.
because without the variance, you can't build any houses there.
Yeah,
You won't get building permits.
yeah, so it's the three
I think There's a
conditions,
significant hardship.
and each one of those, either one of those three have to be affected and has to cause a hardship.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Right.
the hardship you wouldn't be able to develop a lot, because you can't,
Right.
That's good
So,
enough, that's
okay,
good
so-
enough hardship for my check.
The hardship isn't supposed to be self-inflicted, though.
Right.
So let's talk that through.
yes.
Okay, so in this case, it's not self-inflicted because you already had the land, you already planned to do this, and you find out. What happens the next time? Now I do know about it.
Well, it can't be perpetuated by predecessor and right. I mean, we've had that one case where Mr. Lorden came in front of us, and he created this development, ended up with a lot. And I was like, yeah, Ernie Sheldon argued that one, remember that one?
Yeah.
And he had a few words for me when I quoted the law.
Flames.
Because he created the hardship by cutting all the lots out of this block of land. He was left with this corner lot.
Oh, like a wedge shape piece, so short on frontage or something.
He was
Yeah.
self-perpetuating.
Self-created,
Yeah,
that's-
self-created. You can't do that. You didn't have
You
that.
can't get a
No.
variance.
Well, he can do it, but we can't grant a variance because
And we did.
Well, I think-
So here's where I'm going with
But I think
this.
the
Not all
hardship-
land is buildable.
No, but part of the
Right.
hardship, though, is the inclusion of the enhanced 911 that is creating the additional notice of address numbers.
Yeah.
That's
That's out of his
that's out of
control.
hands. So I think that's part of it.
Everything was out of my control, not enough street numbers.
I absolutely
That's
do,
right.
but here's where I'm going.
Okay.
Kevin mentioned he's gonna be knocking on this door possibly again. So what do we do next time? Can we make the same statement?
I would
So,
say-
now this is land maybe you don't
That's-
own, you haven't played, you're
That's
starting
why
from
I was-
scratch, and now you know about this, is it the same story? You see where I'm
Did
going?
he create the hardship?
Right.
That's why I was making that comment
It's
about
fact-based.
trying to include the
I don't
E911.
think so.
Basically, if you can't get the E911, you better be able to prove the other variance conditions instead.
I mean, a
That's why
variance
I
is,
think we should get the planning board to modify this distance between driveways, because I think it's.
Well, I think that was the first,
Make it a
that was the
special
first big, that was the first big hang-up.
Ah, maybe
Yeah.
a special permit.
make it a special permit as opposed to a variance, and then we have the leeway. But, you know, one of the things about a variance, in general terms, it is very fact, case specific.
Right.
It's extremely, and that's why, I mean, variances are very really, if we deny this and you had to go to court, I would guarantee you would lose. Because it's not a matter of right,
Well, I don't know how I could lose.
No, but I'm just saying, though, a variance, you can't even appeal.
We
to it.
usually tell variance applicants to bring an attorney, because you have to argue these points, and they do it for you, and they do it.
It's a deeper legal hurdle to
Much
get.
deeper.
Yeah.
So what's the solution then?
So
You
that's
get a
what I'm
variance,
saying.
just a-
Okay, that
We're
works
talking
here,
That's
but
what
he's
we-
talking about
that's
next
what we're
time.
trying to
No, I know, but I'm saying
Yeah.
moving forwards, moving forwards
Right.
down the road, if it ever does happen
We'll cross
again,
that bridge.
instead of a variance,
Bridge?
how about
That way.
Well,
a special
If it
permit?
was a special permit as opposed to variance, we have
Yeah.
all
Well,
the.
that's
It gives you folks more latitude.
We don't want to set a precedent that's going to lock everybody out in a similar situation.
Oh, I see.
All right, so we basically have, it's the soil condition, we're all going with that, right?
Yep, so we've done that because of the riverfront
And the
line,
hardship is the inability to develop his lot
due to the
due to the,
enhanced
due to the
911.
creation of the enhanced 911 and the requirement to be able to properly number
I-
his house lots.
Yeah.
Write that down.
You got
Because, I
that,
mean,
Beth?
if you look at it, prior to any technology, if there was no E911, that wouldn't even be a consideration.
No, they
It's
would-
just
they would have done what they used to do.
topography band.
They would just misnumber them.
Yeah.
They would misnumber, might have 3 individual driveways. Worst possible case is, I would have to file for a notice of intent from conservation to put to put one of the driveways within the riverfront.
Yeah, and then the other aspect would be, I would say something like, period, further, the existence of the entrance grade of being greater than 8% would preclude
Right.
development of
The driveway.
driveway, an acceptable driveway. That's what I would say. So you basically have 2 conditions. You have the soil condition under the hardship, and you have the grade restriction based on 8%.
Are we still talking about a variance here?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking about special permit
Beth, are you
down the
getting
road.
those?
Okay.
Those facts? Okay,
She's been writing all.
great.
They're trying to rewrite it as they go along, for down the road. Making notes for down the road.
We're trying to write it for the future before it happens.
Making notes for
So
the
then we've got
future.
E, the granting of this variance by the zoning board of appeals would not be detrimental to the public good. And I just think that's,
I don't
we
see.
can make a statement, I don't see it being detrimental to the
And
public.
the budding, well, not budding, but neighbors in the area have no objection to it. It's not causing any scenic destruction, no stone walls, no shade trees.
Yeah.
Instead of where it's going, the opening in the driveway already
have it
is
listed out.
existing.
Yeah, these-
Right.
It's going in the existing driveway that's there.
Yeah, I think your cuts is always better.
They just broke that out into bullet
Yeah.
points.
See, yeah, right. Okay, and then the granting of this variance is not a substantial derogation from the particular bylaw or bylaws. So
15% change.
I would say that's fair.
And that would be at 15%. So the variance requires a minimum of 550 feet common drives. The proposal is 425, which is only a 15% degradation. Sounds good, right?
So far, so.
Yeah.
All right. Now what?
Is there a motion?
Do you have it?
All right, so basically,
Based
we've
on the
already done the findings of facts.
Right.
Based on that?
Yeah. you already started?
Based on the findings of fact, I move that we grant a variance to, for the application of Kevin Smith and Kenneth Tully under zoning bylaw 145-66. We should add 145-24 in there as well. And I think that was all I needed to say.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. I'll second that.
All right.
Actually, before I do it, if I have discussion on the motion, I would like to make an add to that it's all contingent upon the submitted documents, plans, and...
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's board.
Yeah. We'll accept
Subject
that
to plans, and that's my motion.
Oh, I knew
Subject to plans and all.
that. I'll resecond my stuff.
Thank you, Darlene. Polling members, David,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes. Yes.
yes, who else? John, thank you. All right.
What about you?
I'll vote yes, yeah. Motion carries.
There you go.
Now need it.
So we have 14 days to file the decision. You can, talk to death of that when that happens. You'll get a copy in the mail with the town clerk stamp on it, showing the date of filing. There's a 20-day appeal period, after which you can go to the building inspector and get your permits. And you have to record the decision at Middlesex East.
So,
Regular recording.
There's
so, for the record.
South, Middlesex
so
South.
You know that. Been there a couple times, I think.
Middlesex West, I guess.
I think this week, hey Darlene, twice I think already this week. I would like to thank the board. That one.
Check will be at the meeting.
There you go.
So in the future, if that's something you think is gonna come back up, this issue, you might wanna get with a bunch of us talking to the planning board and doing something about changing that number. That's gotta have a public hearing, that has to go in front of town meeting, it's a process. It's not our rules.
No, I know. I do feel though that because of this, this new Enhanced 911 system, it's going to be moving forwards down to probably most every other
So let's
town.
be proactive and think ahead.
No, it makes sense to try to think about it, maybe
Yeah, if you
move
could
forward
get
now rather than having something like this happen again.
Well, I would tell you, Kevin, if you have a potential to buy a piece of lot, and if it's going to fall under this thing, you might want to talk to Beth and put you on the agenda for a discussion before you buy it. Just thinking out loud. Just thinking out loud.
We never do that. Why would we do that?
I know.
Hey, you're not opening up our street numbers. I don't know.
Okay.
Did you sign it?
Magnolia Way.
Yes.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you, folks.
Is that your final answer, Magnolia Way?
Magnolia Way.
I like it.
I think it's a nice name.
That's going to be one of those...
Now we're gonna have to buy a few magnolias to put there.
I know, you're gonna have to plant a magnolia tree.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Conservation.
Thank you, folks.
All righty.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Who seconded that?
Seconder.
If you get that to me, I can look at it
Yeah.
Friday. Does anybody else read the minutes?
Maybe, come through.
The minutes and the decisions. I feel like I'm amending them. Look, I don't want to be the old guy doing it.
I look at it.
I don't want to think it's like I'm like Napoleon
We'd be
complex.
lying on you.
Can I borrow that pen?
It's your place.
I was.
It's your place on earth.
You got it. Good stock in that company?
No. Get them from conferences. Obviously, it's pretty old.
Ballpoint styles, yeah.
I have a box of pencils and I don't need one.
Just the voting members.
Okay.
So, next.
We'll go back up to,
All right, so 2's done. 2 minutes. Present.
oh, good.
The top
On 1.3, topics not reasonably anticipated by the chair, can I ask to put something on there?
Yeah, no problem.
Appointment of officers of the zoning board?
We did that last time when Bill was in here.
I thought I went right in on that one, didn't I?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, all right, what do you guys want to do?
Make a motion to appoint William Cadigan as chair.
Second.
You want to continue?
Unless any, okay, is anybody else? wanna do it?
Anybody else interested?
He's been doing it since like 88, 89.
I did it
I
once.
thought
I did it once when he wasn't here. Everybody joked around and we surprised
Right,
him
we
when he
didn't,
came in.
and we didn't do anything.
I'm okay. Yeah.
I think we need to make him go for the record. If you look back in the history books, they're gonna go, what did this guy do? Get on the board when he was like 3 years
Are either
old?
one of you interested in being chair?
Why don't we stop a tradition?
There's a consensus.
Okay.
Anyone else interested in being vice chair?
Well, we gotta do.
Oh, we have to
All
vote?
those in
I thought
favor?
it's not just a consensus. We have to
Oh, no,
vote.
we have to.
I move that we,
We can still vote on Bill though.
You're an associate for this meeting. You can't make a motion. I move that we,
You're the vice chair right now, so just say.
second?
I second it.
Oh.
And then just say, all those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, and I'll make a motion, we appoint Darlene Sedano as the vice chair of the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I just want to make sure I'm not on it, you know?
I move that we make David the clerk.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unless anybody wants to be clerk. Just read it. Okay, cool.
Great.
Perfect.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, the other topic that.
Thank you for your service, David.
You want to talk about the next meeting, how you want to do it virtually, or if you want to do it sort of in person. You have an option now, so.
when is the next meeting, Beth?
You will probably be, I have to talk to you about that. There is an application before you, so I'm assuming the next meeting will be end of July, early August, like first week of August.
That's the point.
If that- Yeah, so first I'm thinking August 4th, that Wednesday.
So we're going to add that as to 1.3, further discussion on Zoom versus in person?
Yep.
Okay. Me personally, I love the Zoom at
Yeah.
5 o'clock, 5:15.
I
The
know,
only
right?
consideration you'll have to take is that technically the rule was like pre-COVID. A majority of the quorum would have to be physically in the same room, and then other members can do it remotely, so.
Say it again?
I thought they
He
Huh?
It
extended
used
it.
to be the old days, like you could conduct a.
Oh, the old days, yeah.
Yeah, a person could call in and not be present,
Right.
but you had to have a majority of the board.
Right, no, I agree with that, but this is on the extended,
They extended COVID for like another year.
Right.
yeah.
Right, so
How long did he extend it for?
For the state.
so
April of 2020.
2022.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so right now, and I agree with you, on the old staff, if I wanted to participate, there had to be a majority of the quorum in the board, and I could participate remotely.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think we've done that in the past where
Yeah.
someone listened to the tapes or whatever too. But this is only for during the next year.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer Zoom.
I'd love to do it for the rest of the summer anyways.
Right, sure.
Then you don't have to be.
Shall we think?
Doesn't matter to me, I support anything you guys decide.
Okay, I move that Sean takes us all out to dinner.
The next meeting will be,
And we don't, oh, it does have to be, so Mr. Hartley has to be present in
It has to
order
be taped, yeah.
to tape
Yeah,
it.
well, he'd have to host the Zoom meeting from his corner in there, so, yeah.
Is that his corner in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
just like he's been
Yeah.
doing.
All right,
Okay.
All right?
so make it so number one.
I'm on vacation the second week in August.
So am I, so we're good. No meetings the second week of August.
My vacation is usually longer, that's what she was saying.
Yeah, no meetings the second week.
Then
So,
we can use the.
yeah, Beth called me because, I don't know if you guys have heard about this OSPD project up on North End Road.
Yeah, are we allowed to discuss that in the meeting? The
I don't even know what it,
application.
I don't even know what it is.
It's an application
Oh,
received.
it's a fun one.
It's an application received, but I don't think at this point it can be discussed.
We can't talk about it if the applicant's not here, we can't bring it up.
So, no. But that should be coming up. for the first-
That's the first week in August?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Well, when
need-
you send our package, we'll all get it, Jim.
I need your advisory as well, and I'm posting legal notice on that, so.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
No, I'm really questioning.
Are we gonna approve the minutes, 6/2?
Yeah, is there a motion?
Move to approve the minutes of June 2nd?
Second.
Is there anything to discuss about it?
I did
I read
review them,
partially, you did.
and nothing changed, you incorporated my suggestions.
Exactly, yeah.
Great.
But it's not, like I said, I review them, I spend maybe 20 minutes to half an hour, so it may not, it's not guaranteed there's no errors in there. But
I scanned them, all right.
It looks okay to me, there's a lot of parallel construction.
A lot of appointments.
Aye.
All in favor?
I,
Minutes are approved. What else do you want tonight, Beth?
Gosh.
we have a lot of correspondence, right?
Yeah, you did get a lot of correspondence, which you can go through at your convenience. I printed everything out tonight, because I figured you'd just take it home and read it. But, yeah, the only thing I didn't get to print was 4.2, notices from Townsend and other towns. But the notices from Townsend are basically the memos regarding the end of the state of emergency, 4.1 and 4.5. And copies of those are in your packet. So the letters from the building commissioner have both been included for you to review. I don't have to say anything about them, but just so you know that they've been issued. And I haven't